Stonewall Columbus began back in 1981 when a group of local activists decided to put together what they called the Stonewall Union. I got a pin from one of the founders, one of the original Stonewall Union pins. It's in my office now. And they started to create a place where the rights of LGBT people here in Columbus could be addressed, where people could congregate and make plans for how we were going to make the city a different place. So that was back in 1981. It was also the year of the first march, what we now call Pride. I saw some pictures that show some of those early marches. And what was so fascinating about these pictures is you see these people marching down what's Nationwide Boulevard now, and there's just a few of them. It's not the hundreds of thousands of people that come out to Pride now. It's just this small band of marchers, and they were each carrying a single balloon, and they were headed one way on the street, and traffic was going full speed on the other side of the street. So they didn't even close the street for the march. And so in this one photograph, you get this sense of how really grassroots this movement that is now Stonewall Columbus started.
This big, brash reaction to being targeted by the police really let everyone in that community say, we do exist. And if it weren't for them, I'm not sure where our fight for equality would be today. So celebrating Stonewall is really important to help share our history, teach our history, and to make sure that the younger generations who are enjoying a much more free, much more supportive life understand what came before. We need to remember them and thank them, because if it weren't for them, our world today would be vastly different. Being LGBTQ plus has become normal. It's become part of most people's everyday. They have a family member, a neighbor, a coworker, someone they know is part of that community. There's definitely more work for us to do, but it's relatively amazing to see how far we've come.
I think personally that Stonewall is critical to talk about because Stonewall wouldn't have happened without the contribution of trans women. And I think we have often focused on the G and sometimes the L. And I don't think the B and the T get nearly as much attention as they should. We wouldn't have these rights if it wasn't for their contribution.
It's time for us to look at how we interact with one another. Continuing the social, political, very public-facing battles that we have to fight. But it also is time now for us to start looking inward to bridge some of the gaps that exist between us.
Being part of a community means fighting for everyone. And if you're part of a community that is a minority, then you should be out there fighting for every other minority.
When I was initially sort of considering coming to Homage and pursuing it as a career path, the one thing that gave me pause was that it was very much a sports heritage company, and I wasn't sure how I would fit into that. Then, researching it, I discovered Homage's LGBT activism and its participation in Pride, and that suddenly completely changed how I viewed the company, just in the sense that I knew there could be a place for me here, and I knew that I could be myself.
We've worked with the Diversity Foundation of San Francisco, the Family Pride Network, Equality Ohio, and this year we're partnering with Stonewall Columbus in celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall Riots. As a kid, you're looking around, you're looking at athletes, at movie stars, at musicians, you're looking for people who look like you, who have your experiences, and it's important to spotlight those individuals and increase the visibility. You're showing those young people that there are people like them in the world that are successful, that are talented, that are celebrated. Because without that, the world can look, I imagine, like a pretty lonesome place.
Love is the solution to all the problems in the world today. And I mean that. I think that, we do a lot of things to try to fix a problem or to address a problem. But I think love can actually solve a problem and eliminate it.
Love to me just means treating someone else with dignity and respect, and wanting the best for them.